I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm done. This is gonna be one of those videos. I'm done. I've seen three, four, whatever articles from the search engine optimization world about how to manage your brand in LLMs, on Google, and yada yada yada, that I am just done. I'm gonna show you in 3 seconds how what they're talking about doesn't actually work. But I probably should give you some context. Right? First off, I usually put out much more well-produced videos. I am just putting this out there. I'll probably stick my logo on my TV and be done with it, because what is going on is absolutely madness. If you're someone out there who's reading this stuff and listening to it, stop listening to their advice. It is wrong. It is not good advice. It is bad advice. Some of it is just like your normal, like fluffy kind of advice. Some of it is just downright bad advice. So the typical approach, I'm just going to run you through the typical approach that an SEO would take to the brand results, their branded results on Google. Here we go. Sorry, this video is so not polished. I'm going to use JCPenney, which I can't spell, but Google knows how to spell it. I like using JCPenney because it's a classic example. They got a lot of problems. They have a lot of history. I'm super familiar with the brand, and I'm very nostalgic about the brand. So I have good feelings about JCPenney, but I also see all the problems at the same time. All right, so I'm a user. I go, is JCPenney any good? Like, do they suck or do they not suck? And the AI is, they're generally a decent option, yada, 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 yada. Usual nonsense AI says. They have a Reddit. What are your thoughts on JCPenney? Okay, it doesn't look horrible from here. All right. Then you get to the reviews. So this side, let's go to Trustpilot. They have a 1.7 rating on Trustpilot. And this is where you lose me, SEOs. This is where you absolutely lose me. And the advice you're hearing now, let me give you some context. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for 1 second. The reason you're hearing more from SEO people about brand is because brand became a big deal in SEO. And the real problem is that none of these people, oh, go back, Morty. Sorry, that wasn't. A lot of these people haven't touched a brand marketing tactic 10, 15, 20, never. Never. They've never touched an actual brand marketing tactic. But they're offering advice about brand marketing because they think some of them absolutely don't care. They just want to write articles and they just want to get their name out there, so they don't care. Some of them are just well-intentioned. They just don't know. And you need to make the distinction between who those people are. I am not going to call anybody out. Some of the articles where I got there are fine. The problem with that Trustpilot strategy, let me get in context, sorry. So they're talking about brand because there are less clicks coming from search because AI. So they're talking more about how you get your brand visibility and blah, blah, blah. So brand is all of a sudden this big topic in the SEO space. But it'd be like me talking about technical SEO. I don't do technical SEO. I've never done technical SEO. I don't even like technical SEO. I know about content. I know about algorithm updates, but I know a lot about brand marketing. So I'm going to try to bridge this world for you for a second. The problem with the Trustpilot strategy is like this. Okay, so the SEO, let's go back to that screen for a second. This is not a well-orchestrated video. I told you in the beginning. Sorry. Oh, snap. 1.7 on Trustpilot. We got to figure out a strategy to either knock this result down further so nobody sees it, or we need to figure out a review strategy to get better reviews there. Okay, Spanky, how do you get better reviews there? The real problem that JCPenney has is that their brand is toxic. Their brand has been toxic for a long time. So you can do whatever you want. People, when a brand is toxic, because it's happened when I was at Wix. When a brand is toxic, it doesn't matter what you say, it doesn't matter what you do, people will still think you suck. It's like the New York Jets. They could have the best roster on the entire planet tomorrow. They don't. They still suck. And everyone will still think that they suck. The Yankees, who currently do suck, could have the worst roster, which they sort of kind of do, and everyone will think that they're great. They're the New York Yankees. Perception is reality a lot of times in these things. JCPenney is toxic. That's the fundamental problem from the user point of view. The real problem is that JCPenney has a distorted view of who they are. And you can see it in their ads. I don't know, I'm not going to play the whole ad for you, okay? But you can see it here. Okay, their whole thing is, we've got the receipts. Yes, JCPenney. They're upset, historically speaking, and if you don't think brands are upset about these things, Let me tell you a secret. Oh, yes, they are. That people have been crapping on them for a long time, and we're taking receipts. Their whole identity is about them getting revenge back on all the people talking crap about them. The people who are talking crap about them, by the way, happen to be their target audience. So that makes zero sense. But fundamentally, JCPenney has no actual brand identity, is acting like a child screaming out at all the people who it's angry at, and that's their marketing identity. And they're trying to use that for positioning. But you can clearly see conceptually how that wouldn't work. But so now tell me, SEO people, I should probably just go back and get some Trustpilot reviews. That'll fix my problem. The SERP, the Google, or the LLM is a representation of the underlying core principles that you're operating out of as a company. The reason why your Trustpilot score sucks is because you suck at understanding who you are and how that fits into your audience's life in a real, genuine way. You suck at connection. That's why people are leaving you bad reviews. If you didn't suck at connection, people are leaving you better reviews. I'm assuming your product wasn't actually crap. And I don't think JCPenney's product, I grew up at JCPenney. I don't think their product is actually crap. Their product's probably just fine. It's like Target or whatever, Walmart. It's probably the same thing. The other side of this, which I know I'm pivoting. So that's your SEO strategy for brand unraveled in 3 seconds. Hey, that kind of mentality doesn't work. You don't go to the SERP and work your way backwards. You work from the underlying things of the company, their identity and their positioning, and how they're thinking about themselves and how they're thinking about their audience at the latent level. And then you go from there and fix all that stuff. And then you can start dealing with Trustpilot because you're not in a position to deal with Trustpilot right now if you're JCPenney. You're toxic. It won't work. You'll just be wasting your money. Oh, man. The second problem is that because SEOs have never thought about actual real things that really matter for a brand, they're thinking about getting clicks, traffic, and blah, 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 goop, authority scores, links, EAT. They're still talking about EAT. You know, authority and trust and all that, those are actual real concepts in real life that you have to actually align to in real life. That exists in real life. The second problem is that they think there's an easy way out for all of this. There was one post that was talking, I'm not going to say who it was from or where it was, but it was talking about, yeah, you should, I'm sorry, that was a post from Anu. No, the post from Anu was good. I'm just having to click on that one. Oh yeah, here you go. You need automated positive content generator. Use AI to spin up positive content about your brand. You don't actually have to have a good brand. You just need a bot to say nice things about you. I'm going to try that with my wife. I'm going to have an AI bot. I'm going to try to have it spin up and say nice things about me to cover up all my flaws and shortcomings. And I'm going to see if that works with my wife. Do you think it's going to work with my wife? No. If it doesn't work in a one-on-one relationship, it is not going to work with your relationship with your audience at all either. And we have been I have a blog post about this coming out today, I think. I might already be out. I don't want to schedule it. We have been operating, and particularly in the performance marketing side, hi SEOs, in this fabricated sandcastle in the sky that you can just do whatever you want, say whatever you want, try all these tactics, that if you did them in real life, you'd be a total idiot. But it's totally fine in the digital space. What are we doing at this point? I'll tell you what you need to do. And this is where I'll stop ranting for a second. What you actually need to do, and it's a long, difficult, hard process, is sit down. Okay, this video is going longer. I do all the time. I have 2 dreams when I retire that I want to do. One of them is I want to go around to every single baseball stadium and watch a game in the whole season. Do it all in one season. I also want to go around to every single Fortune 100 company and ask the CEO, hey, what's your brand identity? And watch them go, and then laugh. Which I know sounds sadistic or something horrible, but that's what I want to do. The real problem is that we create brand identity as if it were a dating profile. I like long walks on the beach. We offer streamlined, scalable processes to increase your digital visibility. it's schlock, it's surface level, it's not meaningful, it's not real. And if you actually were that person, you would be a shallow version of yourself. You'd be a shell. Okay, the identity we put out there is a shell. And we don't pay a lot of attention to it, but it's the most important thing of absolutely everything you're doing in your marketing because it's you. And you're the one doing all your marketing. So if your you is screwed up, your content strategy, your PPC strategy, your SEO strategy, your marketing strategy, your consumer, it's all screwed up. And you need to sit back and think about who you are as a company, aligned with the things you actually do, like your actual product or your actual service or your actual offering, whatever it is, and figure out what is meaningful to you about doing that. Why is that mean? If you're creating widgets, why is it meaningful for you to create widgets? Are you simply doing it for a paycheck? If you are, you should stop. You should go find something that's a little bit more meaningful. I'm not saying it has to be like super meaningful. Right? That's not how life works. But there is a layer of meaning. And if there isn't a layer of meaning, you're doing the wrong thing. And you need to find that thing. And you need to make that thing very, very clear to you and to the rest of your team where it gets lost. And you need to get buy-in from your team and that very meaningful idea of what we're trying to do here. And then that very meaningful thing about what we're trying to do here and why we're doing this should seep into absolutely freaking everything that you do. Consistently, you talk about brand consistency, you're not talking tone and design language and blah, 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 gook. Those are important too. You're talking about the consistency of that depth of who you are being freaking everywhere in your marketing. Everything, so all roads should somehow connect back to that. And if they don't, and it's not aligned, you should not be doing it or you should not be saying it. It's a simple formula. It's very hard to actually do. But you have SEOs telling you, yeah, watch your tone and watch your consistency and watch your this for your LLMs and your brand SERP. That's very nice. It's not bad advice. It's very surface level advice, and it's going to get you, let me think about it, nowhere. It's going to get you nowhere. It will get you absolutely nowhere. You will waste time trying to do these things. You have to figure out the core of the thing, which is yourself and your brand and that thing that you're all about, legitimately all about. It has to be real. And then you have to apply that everywhere. You have to apply that to your audience. How does who I am fit in with who my audience is? You have to first ask, who's my actual audience? Who actually cares about this? If that's who I am, who actually cares about who I am? For me, it's nobody. No, I'm kidding. And then you have to figure out how you fit in there, which is, by the way, that's called brand positioning. That's actual brand positioning. It's very difficult, and it's very conceptual. It's very thorough, and it's not easy, which makes sense because everyone's all brand positioning. Well, if it were so easy to do and it's so easy to figure out, then everyone would do it and get it right. So I'll stop here. I've gone on way too long, but I'll recap. If there's a SEO article about building your brand, it's probably either surface level or completely wrong. You need to make that distinction. The surface level one, take away the good ideas, leave the rest. The ones that are just garbage, do not listen to them. You won't like end up in a bad place. You just end up wasting your time and your money. That is a bad place, actually. And you'll end up trying to do things like running this, running that, and it'll end up costing you money. So that actually is that actually is a bad place. Don't listen to their advice. It's a bad place. And you need to do things that are real, which I know sounds crazy in digital marketing. Things that are real, which is figuring out who the hell you are, how that applies to your audience, and then putting that out everywhere. Now, I'll give you a very simple formula. Your tagline, your H1, should include something that references who you are and how who you are helps the audience. It should be a merging of the two, who you are and your audience together. Because again, that's positioning. Now, good luck, because it's very difficult. And I'm done. Again, not well-produced video. Kind of just went on a rant. But I've seen so many of these articles the last few days, and I've lost my mind. Sorry, I lost my mind.